Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are having a great day today. This is just another quick video. It's a quick video update. I think now I can start making different kind of videos, and these videos are um, they're gonna be about like things that I have going on and things like that, which are important. And I for everybody, I think it's or for most people that understand. I've been wanting to talk a lot more about galactic things, and whenever I have a chance where it's meaningful, where I'm asked to watch to create a video, then obviously I'm going to create a video. Uh, so they're emissaries for Earth, and um, they do a lot of guidance, and they explain a lot of the things that are going on in the planet and how things are evolving. So a lot of extraterrestrials left the planet, so to speak. They're gone, and I knew they'd be gone, and then I had a confirmation about that most recently, and really what happened was that there was a for those that saw it, they did like a dance. It felt like the stars were moving in the sky in a certain way, right? They were just kind of glimmering and being happy, just showing it in a way that you could see it visually, and they're gone. So there are a lot of ships that are not here anymore. So that's one. So Kara of the Pleiades, it's a Pleiadian emissary that's guiding Earth. Pleiades is the closest star cluster we have, so we're in their backyard. Basically, we are. Uh, they sponsor us in a way that we're included in a lot of the things that happen. So we're we're in a way part of the Pleiades, just like you could say a territory of the United States that isn't a state, but still a territory, independent in its own way. It's what the Pleiadians consider us to be. So this gets to be a lot of there's a lot of metaphysical things too that I can say and that I can explain to you guys in a lot of ways. What matters most is that it's said, not so much that is explained, right? Or the explanation I can give you might not be the best. And I've watched videos where I get these, you feel a certain way about when you make a video. Like I feel a certain way right now. Since last night when I had a channeling with Kara of the Pleiades, she said, I'm Kara of the Pleiades. She's really is from Andromeda and has come here to this planet to assist through the Pleiades and assist on Earth here today. Um, I don't know if you'll remember this or if I mentioned it before, but remembering is something that you might want to consider it since it wasn't long ago where we had a conversation with Kara, maybe a few months ago. She said that she's a physical human, but you would consider her to be an angel in the things that she can do, right? You would consider her to feel like an angel in the technology that they use. You would think of it as being just magic or magical in a lot of ways. That's one of the things that she said too. She also said that that this is an Earth mission, right? And we're all doing an Earth mission. Whoever just watches this video and understands what I mean, they'll get it. They'll resonate with that kind of energy. A lot of other people don't care, or they're so much in their ego that they can understand what you're saying to them. It's incomprehensible, right? There's that aspect of being incomprehensible that you build tension, and there's usually a lot of misunderstanding and misguided thoughts, right? And just this fear of the world of someone that doesn't resonate with your frequency is very different, and you have to respect that part of them because it's just what their world is, right? Not everybody here on this planet specifically has an objective to accomplish, a mission to complete, or even just a karmic or even a dharmic purpose for you to be aware of. And some, because of the ignorance or maybe just the lack of understanding, they're just unaware of that aspect of their lives. And maybe it's okay. I mean, if I felt like I was unaware of any goal or purpose that my soul contract has for myself, then I think I wouldn't mind. And maybe there are a lot of things that go over my head where I don't understand what's going on or don't care enough that it doesn't matter to me, right? And I could still be completing my soul contract. But there are certain things that you are specifically aware of, which is fine. So what's important about the metaphysical part that I'm trying to relay is that there's, positive and negative energy. And one way that it was explained to me was that when I had a channeling with angels, and I truly mean more than just glorified extraterrestrials, right? It, it's what they said was that even the things that are here on Earth that are conflicts or push and pull for opposite ideas and opposite ways of thinking and way of seeing the world, it's very similar to the way that these angelic beings see the world in that way. The way that their world is modeled after, it's very similar to the way it's modeled here, even on 3D, on this third dimension. It's the same way in every single part of this galaxy that you can think of, where they are always going to be opposition. There's doctrines, there's laws, opposition, and the ebb and flow of things, and things like that. So that's part of it. That's most of the science that you think that you want to talk to them about, or what they knew that I would understand specifically. But I mean, 2 years later since that moment, and I just kind of gave it a few thoughts, and every once in a while came back to the idea where they said, oh, we also have our own kind of strife and things that we go through, even at this level. It's inescapable to leave the consciousness of your creator when you're living inside it. So these are just the rules of the house, and the house is trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of empty space out there where life could or could not be, and those are the rules, right? The expectation of how you're going to live within the universal mind of Source Creator himself. So why do we feel this way? Like, what's going on? Why is it there's this gut feeling, there's this connection to a higher self? First of all, your vibration, your frequency, and your level, your understanding of self, it's raising above, right? The only way you can do that is if you do have opposing thoughts and ideas, a negative and a positive, a warm, a hot or a cold, a good or a bad, right? A right or a wrong. There are these opposing there are opposing means that are tied into the same principle. Like, for example, hot and cold water, right? I love you or I hate you is tied to that same string of emotion, but it's an opposite to its meaning, depends on what experiences you're going through at the time. So right now I am living in a self-awareness that I have been able to merge these two from time to time into a solid one uniform thought and idea. And the good thing about this, and the good thing that I can see about this is that because of this unified connection, this feeling of being connected to everything in the whole universe, and anybody could describe this as a as a mushroom trip, or someone's tried like drugs or something, where they're saying that they're in this sphere of infinite understanding and they can connect with the universe. Then that feeling doesn't necessarily have to come from using drugs or anything like that. So the explosions of positive and negative that create everything around us allows you to, at that moment, connect to the singular moment, the Big Bang, where you are connected to every single piece of yourself. And usually, instead of being an external force where you would go out and you want to do things, it feels like I'm just in this flame. It feels like I'm inside a bubble, and the world around me still looks the same, but there's just a lot more depth and understanding of the purpose of how things are happening, and what's going on. So once you get used to more of this feeling and more of this feeling, and you can share these feelings with others, right? And I think sharing with others is not a bad thing. But then going through that uh, emotion, going through the process of again and again and again, and kind of getting a feel of this other person there with you, or you're surrounded by your environment, or you feel like there's a positive move in a certain direction that you must take. That's the guiding principle that says, well, you know what? I need to rearrange my furniture. Or you can say, this, this wall's gray, but maybe I get better if I change it to bone white or something. You'll get a hint of what's your next step and what the things that you have to do, and you're guided in principle by the spirit, right? The Your connection to source, which is just you're anchored in through your silver cord that rests in your heart. And once you fulfill that need, or understand how to spark that flame of interconnectedness, you'll be able to feel ascended. But you don't have to feel like you. What is the feeling of ascension? I believe now that maybe I'm in that feeling of ascension. And never does it cross my mind where I'm think that I'm the greatest and the best, because it's not true. It is proportionate to the circumstances around you, but it's still the same moment of bliss that can be the birth of a child, a birthday party, seeing an old friend, that sort of joy that just fills you for a moment, for a few days, for a week. You can have that same loving energy for the rest of your life. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the world's going to break apart the way it seems like it's doing now. But even then, you feel comfortable and you're at peace with yourself. And I'm able to make that kind of connection with Source and understand the process that it takes to accomplish it. And I can get that all the time? No, but when I do, I'd hop in and I make a video, or I just put more fire into the flame, and maybe go on a walk or a hike or something, or doing some physical activity. It's usually a very good thing for you. So, or do yoga, which is actually pretty close to achieving that kind of Zen thing that they talk about too. It's all the same thing. and it can be achieved in lots of different ways. So this connection that you feel is amazing. It's great. It can be forever. It can be shared by others, and you could absolutely know within this specific moment that you are living through now, then what really matters, right? What really, who is the person that it's going to you want in your life, or who is the where's the place where you need to move, or how you're guided by a spirit to just do certain things for whatever reason, so that you can advance your own personal growth. It's selfish in a lot of ways because it's hard to share the experience unless you do it for yourself. I can't tell you how an almond tastes like. You can eat it for yourself, and I can tell you it's crunchy, it's sweet, has an aroma to it. Um, your taste buds feel a certain way. It's not sour, it's crunchy. The texture of it, it's mild. Not as soft as cheese, but not as hard as um, beef or meat. So that is hard to explain, but definitely um, doing your meditations and connecting with your higher self is important. So when Kara mentioned that, and it just kind of divulged and said that you are in the ascension process, or you're an earth being here to accomplish goals to further bring this planet to union within itself and within its people, then you also have to experience what that union is for yourself, so that you can share it with others, or at the very least just be that anchor for Earth herself, and have her understand as a being herself as well that it's there's there's people here to help you, and it's not all lost when it comes to uh, bringing the earth to a more peaceful place. So I think the greatest takeaway from this would be the conversation with Kara, um, the Ancient Awakenings website. It's a good source of channelings, and you get a feel of what's going on there too. It's been hacked a lot, actually. I haven't been able to really even listen to the audios that they got. I don't know if it's my browser, or I don't want to get into much details, but it might work for you. And you can tell that there's a movement for the liberation of the planet, which I think is the reason why I'm here. And this bliss moment that I feel, and that maybe you feel too, is universal for everyone, and it really doesn't matter where you are, where you're coming from. You can have this kind of experience, and then you learn. But just by just telling me that they also go through the experiences of strife in the higher dimensions, black, I would imagine, just there's enough of what goes on here, like wars in higher dimensions, in just a complete different way. I would imagine there are no wars, but they're now battling with different situations too that create opposition within galactic society. Should we go to Earth and help them out, or should we not? And that could be their drama for their generation of individuals there. Just like we have our problems here, which are obviously current events is what's going on. But then that allows you to reconcile the differences for yourself, and not necessarily the whole general population. So this thing that's happening now allows anybody that's experiencing it to go within, right? And then find themselves, and then see the world and how they can make it a better place, to the point where then this isn't necessary anymore. And even as a society, humans and humanity can find other things to bicker about that doesn't necessarily would be war, but it'll be just as intense, it'll be just as emotionally charged and powerful but wouldn't necessarily have to be a war or any kind of perpetual war that we have going on. Instead, it could be, you know, human cloning, uh, galactic travel. Who gets to go? Who gets to stay? Who has the right to leave? Who can't go? Right? And those sort of things are the ones are the not the ones, but these situations that will define the future of humanity as a whole. So it's just an easy way to say, well, you're looking just across the room, but you're not seeing across neighborhood. You're seeing the trees, right? You're not seeing a forest of opportunities ahead of us, and don't get all wrapped up in this thing that's going on now, because it's like watching the birthing of a new galactic society, and then this is just the steps that are happening, right? Where there's destruction and misery everywhere. So, I leave it at that. I I definitely wish I could have said this in a different way, but it's good to put it in words so that most people can get it. And then we can just do a lot of reading and meditating and find that its center point of energy that unites you with the universe. So my point of objective perception of something that's opposite to me isn't the war. It's lots of other different things that give me that perception of imbalance, that in turn allows you to find yourself and then balance yourself out in the way that fits with your environment, and then you'll be able to raise your energy and go into this even higher state of consciousness while still being physical here on this planet in this now moment, right? You just live your now moment. The anticipation of a future that hasn't happened, it'll drive you nuts, because the future nobody can see or can predict or tell anything about the future. That's something that's done a different way. So I leave you with that. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I made a really bad, sloppy, ugly video the other day and I deleted it. I didn't like it, but I felt like I had to at least maybe once a month put one, maybe twice a month I'll put out a video again. And just, keep watching my older videos. They're great. Many times I felt the way I feel now. It's a very unique experience. It's listening to the same song of life in a different octave, which is still similar, but it's so much better. It's going from watching SD, standard TV, to watching the same thing in HD, and then 4K, and then 8K, and it'll just start going up and up and up, and it does raise your awareness immeasurably, and you'll begin to behave yourself in a complete different way. So there's that. Really not good at this, but explaining it to you is the best way I can say it with the limited knowledge that I have about what's going on internally. I told you what books to read, and just do your meditations, and yoga is something too that's I haven't practiced, but I am doing some exercises that are very similar, and I find myself to be better off in that sense, which is good. So I leave you guys well. Enjoy the weekend. I'll upload the video soon, and I'll see if I can make 2 videos a month at least to get back in the mood of things. Thanks for watching, guys.